Today is Monday, January 17th, and we have some ice out there, ladies and gentlemen. Some very poor driving conditions right now, so we'll dive right into it here. I'm News 8 digital anchor Luke Lasser here from the Wood TV live desk. Joining me, Chief Meteorologist Ellen Bacca. Ellen, let's take a look at our radar right now. What are we seeing here?
All right, it doesn't look like much at first glance, does it? No, looks quiet.
But we got colors.
One flare. You do have some colors, so let's dive into that. You do see like one flare up of pink there, and that's one scan of the radar where it really helps to illuminate what's happening here across West Michigan. We have some light freezing drizzle and light freezing rain that's rolling across portions of our area, especially Ottawa, Kent, Ionia, and South. And this isn't a lot of heavy stuff. It's very shallow moisture, so in some cases, it's actually appearing below the radar beam. So even though we have our radar scanning the skies, it's such a shallow layer of rain and mist that a lot of times it's not even plotting on spots like Ottawa County or Allegan or Hastings or Kalamazoo or Van Buren. And all of these areas are in a winter weather advisory until 10 p.m. this evening for the potential of freezing drizzle and mist and some slick spots on area roads.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some graphics here that we're going to dive right into. Before we dive into that, though, again, you see those names below or those hashtags below our names. Hey, Luke, hey, Ellen. If you have any questions, go ahead, put them up on the screen there, and we'll get those answered for you. Ellen, a grab right here from Storm Track Live. What are we seeing?
Yeah, isn't this crazy? This is huge. This is that system that we've been telling you about all week, the one that rolled down through the Dakotas and Minnesota and Iowa, dropping a good 6 to 8 inches of snow in some spots there. And then, after it dropped south, it took on a bunch of Gulf moisture and hooked back north. So all of the areas that have been impacted by this system are basically every state in the Great Lakes except Michigan.
Well, I guess we'll take it.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take it. So I don't know who was praying too hard then, but they definitely let us dodge this snow system. But it is still unloading on several spots. New York, you can see Cleveland still seeing some heavy snow, also some lake enhancement there. And we also have some rain changing over to snow in places like Portland and Maine. So some of the snowfall totals from this particular system, close to 17 inches in Buffalo, New York so far. Cleveland, Ohio, at least a foot. I have some family members close by Cleveland. They said 18 inches in the drifts for us.
Wow.
Spartanburg, South Carolina, 8 inches of snow. Then we got a spot in West Virginia close to 8, and a place in Virginia, Roanoke, if you've ever been there, 7 inches of snow. So this is
it's huge.
Yeah, this is a big system, especially considering how far south some of the spots are that have seen some snow accumulation. Atlanta, Georgia saw some snow out of this system. Meanwhile, we're just dealing with clouds, the colds this weekend, and some freezing drizzle today.
And some temperatures here across West Michigan.
Every time we get freezing drizzle, it always kind of confuses at least a few people, and it should, because it's like, wait a minute, it's 29 degrees outside. How are we getting rain right now? And the reason why is because we have such a shallow air mass of cold air that settled down close to the surface that as these raindrops are falling through the sky, they stay as rain, but the moment that they hit the ground, they encounter conditions like 30 in Allegan and 30 in Hastings, which is below freezing. So the air mass is so shallow close to the surface here that it's the perfect environment for raindrops to fall into it and then freeze after they've landed. So unfortunately, temperatures are still below freezing all across the board. You'll notice Fremont, Big Rapids, Greenville in the 20s. More likely just seeing some flurries there. And Luke, the good news is if you're traveling, once we get past 10 p.m. tonight, it should convert over to just flurries, but we are going to have to keep an eye on that evening commute.
And speaking of that commute, we have Sue here. We can get this one up. She's saying, hi from Lowell, just got home from Lansing area. Westbound 996 was slick, multiple cars off the road, a jackknife semi in the median between Portland and Ionia. Again, it's very slick out there.
And that's about the spot that we're seeing some of the worst conditions, like right between those two areas, between Lansing and Lowell. We've got Portland, Lake Odessa, Ionia. You're in the center spot for some of that freezing mist. And then if we were to go almost due south of that to I-94, over on the east side of Battle Creek, we're also seeing a lot of slowdowns. Kent County itself had tons of accidents reported, slide-offs, incidents, fender benders. That's a tricky thing about freezing drizzle and freezing mist. It does not take much to completely eliminate traction. So if you just stop at just the wrong time, then you're caught off guard. And most of us know in West Michigan that you gotta coast. You don't make any sudden movements when you lose that traction. You just let it ride. But still, like, there are other conditions, right? Other cars, other things that you're headed towards. So unfortunately, even some of the best drivers can really get waylaid by freezing drizzle.
Paula's saying Greenville is a skating rink right now.
Yeah, stay safe. Thank you for that report. That's good to know, because again, with radar conditions like this, it doesn't show much. So we really have to go by ground truth, and viewer reports are incredibly helpful with that.
Let's move over to our next graphic here, and these are our highs.
High temperatures, look at those. Yeah, they're pretty chilly.
Heat wave.
Heat wave for Tuesday and Wednesday, headed to the 30s. And then back down again Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Check out next Tuesday, a high of just 16 degrees. We are usually around the 30s for our average high temperatures. So the fact that we're going to be dropping down into the teens and the 20s for a straight week is colder than average. It also does set the stage for more snow chances. Right now, it looks like our next snow event will be Wednesday into Thursday. That's a lake effect that we're expecting. And then Saturday, I would start planning on some snow showers for Saturday at this point in time. So when we have a setup like this, Luke, where it's just cold every day, we just have to watch the weather pattern to see when we get things like lift in the atmosphere and a little incoming moisture to kickstart snow across Lake Michigan.
I want to go back to that first graphic that you had there. So I actually just got back from out of town. I was in South Florida, and I had a flight up to New York. It got canceled due to literally what we see in this graphic here.
Yeah.
And got rerouted to Atlanta. I was stuck at the airport a long time, but yeah. No joke up there. I totally forgot about that until just now.
No, this is a heavy hitter system. This is a big deal, and it's unloading a lot of snow in a lot of spots that don't see as much snow as West Michigan usually. Like here in West Michigan, we're used to lake effect, so when we have snow events, like we saw, a week and a half ago, that drop a good foot and a half of snow, we can handle it, you know.
Right.
It can close school for a day or, you know, slow us down on our roadways, but other locations that see snow events like this, it's much more rare, and so it does slow them down for a longer period of time. Unfortunately, too, with this system, there have been a lot of ice reports, too, like in the Carolinas, where that rain-snow freezing line is. So, yeah, it's a wicked system. We're lucky that we just got dodged by it. Snow lovers are upset, though.
Right.
Snow lovers are sad. But don't worry, with these cold temps, we have plenty of chances for more snow.
I mean, you said, I can't imagine Roanoke, Virginia, 7 inches down. They can't be prepared for something like that,
that's like
right?
shut down until it melts type weather.
Wow.
Hopefully they got the bread and milk.
Right. So we have this photo here. You sent this one. Is this a viewer photo? What are we seeing here?
This is, and so I just wanted to encourage you guys to send us what you're seeing. We love seeing it, for one, and for two, occasionally we can show them on air, which is fantastic. So we can finish with this before we head back up to the tracking center, but this is a halo around the moon. Jeff Bowers took this picture. It's beautiful, and this is a particularly good example of when you have really delicate ice crystals in the sky, and they all have to be very similar in size and shape to create a phenomenon like this. So if they're too diverse, they won't refract and reflect the light perfectly together, but when they're all very similar in size and shape, then they work together to create this halo. So that's called a 22-degree halo, and that's because of the angle of refraction and reflection, not temperature degree, but angle degree.
How common is this? How often would we see something like this?
I would say like a handful of times a year.
Nice.
You can see this, but this is a great example, and it's always pretty to see. So thank you to Jeff for snapping that and sending it to us.
Awesome photo. Well, Ellen, what do we have at 5 and 6?
A lot. We have a lot. So Matt's in upstairs right now. We're going to continue to finish up the forecast, talk more about the snow potential for Wednesday and Thursday, talk about who's most likely to see snow. We're also going to cover this coming weekend. I know that it's just Monday, but we'll also look forward toward the weekend and talk about snow chances then. We're also going to talk about that big volcanic explosion in Tonga.
Whoa.
Huge explosion over the weekend, and and the lightning count was enormous, and also the shock wave literally went around the world. So we can show you some of those graphics and actually show you the impacts that we saw here in West Michigan.
Oh, wow.
From that volcano in the Pacific, which is incredible.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, everything you need to know weather-wise, head over to woodtv.com. It is linked in this stream. It'll take you over to the weather tab there. Ellen, thank you. This has been a look at the Wood TV Live Desk. I'm News 8 Digital anchor Luke Laster. Drive safe out there, folks, if you absolutely have to. We'll see you around.